Hey folks, it's Jason, JTL Painfully Honest Tech. I am back again, and I had a little time today to check out the Pixel event over there at Google. And so I have a few thoughts about the Pixel 2 and the Pixel 2 XL. Remember 2 XL? I'll put up a picture of 2 XL. Anyway, let's talk. If you're curious, 2 XL was a toy that took 8-track tapes with data on it. It was kind of like a robot / computer toy for kids. I had to have one when I was probably about 8 or 9 years old. Anyway, back to the Google. So, Pixel and Pixel 2 XL, the Pixel 2, I was interested to see what they were going to come up with. I had seen some renders of something that might have been called an ultra pixel that looked like super sexy, no bezels, all screen, blah blah blah. We didn't see that. What did we see? Well, we saw a couple of phones. Okay, so first let's just run through some of these specs. I'm looking at them here. We got 4 gigabytes of RAM. We got a 5-inch screen. We got a 6-inch screen. We got one of them that's 1440. We got one of them that's 1080. We got Gorilla Glass 5 on the front of both of them. 441 pixels per inch, 538 pixels per inch. P AMOLED screen for the 2 XL, XL2. The regular 2 has 441 pixels per inch. I think both of those maybe beat the iPhone 10. I don't remember those specs right off the top of my head. The camera, they would spend a lot of time talking about the camera today. 12.2 megapixels at f1.28, which is pretty cool. They've got focus pixels, they've got OIS, they got EIS. They both work at the same time. So many things. 8 megapixel front-facing camera. You can also do portrait mode on the front-facing camera, which is kind of cool because then you can take a portrait of yourself. I like portrait mode on all these cameras. I never quite understood, though, why portrait mode was only on you had to take a picture of somebody else. I want to take a picture of myself. Don't you? Video is 4K at 30 frames, and then 1080 up to 120, and 720 up to 240 frames per second, which means you can do slow-mo stuff that's really cool. 240 is the sweet spot for the slow-mo. If you're 2700 milliamp hour battery on the 2 and 3520 on the 2 XL. 3520 might make this phone the new battery champion. I don't know. That's a lot of milliamp hours. For reference, the Note 8 has only 33. The S8 Plus has 35. The iPhone 10 is way smaller than that. I forget what it is. Anyway, with Android optimizing, all the time, that battery life should be pretty good on that phone. USB-C rapid charging, so we got fast charging this time around, which is pretty cool, but no wireless charging on this phone. No wireless charging at all. Fingerprint sensor, where everyone loves the fingerprint sensor, which is here and not here, here and not here. So that's good. It has what they call active edge sides. So you squeeze it, and that's how you activate Google Assistant. Well, they bought a HTC. HTC had that in the U11, so I guess that's fair game. 64/128. 64/128. The pricing is pretty good. The 2 starts at $649, and the 2 XL starts at $849, and then there's a price bump beyond that. That's a price that they're undercutting the price of the iPhone and the Note and the S8 and the S8 Plus by about $50 across the board, give or take a little bit depending on sales, etc., etc. So that's pretty good. That's pretty good. IP67 water resistance. It ain't waterproof, as most people like to point out about the iPhone. It ain't waterproof, water resistant. But that's better than nothing, which is what you had on the Pixel. Nothing. Colors. Kinda blue. I thought it was kind of gray until I saw that it was called kinda blue, but whatever. Jet black and clearly white. On the 2XL, I'm never going to be able to say that name without thinking about that toy. On the 2XL, you've got black and white. I don't know, the tuxedo version, I guess. But the cheap 80s white on black tuxedo. And just black. After the event was over, I was kind of like, oh, this is exciting. That looks like a pretty darn good phone. It's much nicer looking in its build quality than the Pixels of last year. Last year, the Pixels, the fit and finish was a little bit janky, honestly. And it looks like the fit and finish is a little bit cleaner this time around. How about them bezels? Look at those things. Those things are huge. Dual front-facing speakers, though. So that's a nice touch, dual front-facing speakers. And HTC, if that is in fact who's making this phone, has done great sound with their boom sound and all that kind of stuff. So front-facing speakers, great. I have to say though, squeeze for help. That's really one of their. I'm sorry, it's been a long day. Anyway. So as I was watching the event, I was super excited, and I was like, I'm buying one. Then I just sort of went for a walk to kind of cool down and let the marketing flush out of my system. It's a good-looking phone. It's got good stuff going on in all the right places. It's not a sexy phone. It doesn't have all the features of any of the Samsung phones whatsoever. It doesn't have the S Pen. It doesn't have, eyeball recognition. It doesn't have any of that stuff. It's probably not as sexy as the iPhone 8 Plus. And we haven't seen the iPhone 10 yet in real life, except for you fancy YouTubers who saw it. To me, this phone, in terms of design, it's kind of like the khakis, the Levi Dockers of phones. It's inoffensive. It's casual Friday. It's business casual, which is fine. The phrase that came to mind, though, as I thought about it more, was vanilla Android. Maybe I'll change my mind when we see it in the flesh, but there's just nothing that really says wow about this at all. I mean, the color, I don't like the colors very much. If I were to get one, I'd get a white one or I'd get a black one. And that would be about it. Now, I'm not knocking anything about this phone. I haven't used it. I'm just saying that Google seems to want to compete in a space that exists between Apple and Samsung. So Apple's over here. They got their customer base, and their customer base is a little bit more boring, people might say, or uninspired, people might say. But then again, I mean, this is pretty much the same design as the Pixel from last year, so did they get dinged for that? I don't know. Then you've got Samsung, which is always trying to push the envelope, new features all the time. It seems like Google is trying to fly somewhere in the middle there and be the company that's the safe choice. The easy, like the phone that you would bring home to mom, I guess. And maybe that's enough. I had the Nexus 6P. I always thought the Nexus devices were really cool. And the Pixels just haven't had the cool factor of the Nexus phones. And maybe that's what Google's going for. Maybe Google doesn't want cool factor. Maybe Google wants middle of the road. Maybe they want a phone to bring home to mom. I don't know. What do you guys think about the new design and the new features and all that kind of stuff? It's got some impressive features, and I'm sure it's going to be a great, solid working phone that people will love for the same reasons they love the Pixel. It's a really good stock Android experience in decent yet not inspired looking hardware. Am I right? You tell me down in the comments. Thanks for being here. This has been a little bit of a thought process about the vanilla Android. the Dockers of mobile phones. The phone that you would bring home to mom, the Google Pixel and the Google Pixel 2 X Thanks for being here. My name's Jason, sometimes known as the JTL. This is Painfully Honest Tech, painfully honest thoughts about these brand new phones. Like and subscribe. Do all those things that people do. I would really appreciate it. Come back and see me again, because I'll just keep talking about phones as often as I possibly can. Until the next time, I'm out.